Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Truth About Real Estate Investing Show. My name is Erwin Cito, and Cherry and I have been having a great year. I'll do a year-end review show, hopefully sometime soon. No promises. Hopefully Cherry will even join me, and we'll share what worked and what didn't work in 2021, so you too may learn from what works and our mistakes, so that you too may have a more efficient year. We're no one special, but we do have experience owning a couple 7-figure businesses and an 8-figure real estate portfolio. We just returned from a 4-day ski trip from Hidden Valley in Huntsville, Ontario, and it was pretty awesome. It was all organized by Cherry, which is funny because she's the non-skier in the family. we like Hidden Lake because it's small, which is great for the kids and Cherry as they're learning. And because it's a bit further than most ski hills, especially the better ski hills, the lineups for the chairlifts are almost non-existent. So it's almost like it's a private club without the private club rates or initiation fees. It's actually pretty inexpensive. The kids in Cherry get lessons every day for 4 days because that's what beginners should do. Beginners who don't, well, if you've seen beginners on a ski hill, it's not pretty. No different than beginners real estate investing. Anyways, one afternoon it was -7 degrees. That was actually one of the warmer days. I think the morning before it was -19 when we got on the hill. Anyways, I'm personally afraid of the cold, probably more than some others, but it is my own policy to have no exposed skin when it's that cold and when I'm on the ski hill and when it's that windy. For others, maybe not so much, as I observed a bunch of beginners. They were wearing rental equipment. They at least, I'm guessing helmets were mandatory because they were all wearing helmets, but no goggles and no gloves. Yes, that's bare hands holding ski poles, but they were wearing Canada Goose jackets. No snow pants, but either way, by the way, as my kid, one of them passed by the group of beginners wearing rentals without gloves and goggles and snow pants. Anyways, and then the one that my kid passed, the closest to them, they panicked, like as if they'd seen a ghost, and immediately fell over and their skis popped off. So my kids have been in ski camp for the previous 4 days already. So they have very good control on skis and they're comfortable skiing in close proximity to people. This new to skiing gentleman, unfortunately, was not so much comfortable being around others. I also saw on the day before, I saw another family. They had their pants tucked into their ski boots and they were with their kids. As soon as I saw them push off from the chalet to head towards the chairlift, and this is like the steepness to the hill is pretty close to the bunny hill. Anyways, the entire family fell over. One of them even resorted to taking her skis off and trying to sit on them as if they were a toboggan. She didn't realize that the skis have built-in brake technology. So, like anything new that comes with risk, first physical or financial, I can't recommend enough that people take lessons. Learn from someone who actually does it themselves and do it so successfully. And of course, Cherry and I offer free training for both real estate investing and stock options, which we call stock hacking. And you can simply go to www.iwinrealestate.ca or www.stockhacker.academy. Sign up for the free demonstration, for the free training, and you will learn from people who are actually doing and being successful doing. Don't try to learn these things on your own. It can be painful. It can be painful. We've helped a lot of hardworking Canadians create 6- and 7-figure side hustles. Majority of them are busy parents with day jobs, and without ever having to fix a toilet or even talk to tenants in some cases. Register today to be invited to the next free training session. On to the investing front, we just signed a tenant of our only vacancy. As I wrote this, I forgot I had another vacancy come up. It was the main floor of one of our new duplexes. We got $2,200 plus hydro. The basement is already rented for $1,800 plus hydro, so that's $4,000 per month, or that's the equivalent of $48,000 per year on a legal duplex that we paid in the low 800s for this past summer. This was a property we purchased off one of our flipper clients. The fill took longer than expected, as the property manager didn't have as keen an eye or for small details, or just not as picky as I was. For example, there was some painting that was left unfinished during the renovation. The front door also was, the paint was cracking on it, so it needed a paint. The over-the-range microwave was not yet installed because there was a missing part, and part of the bathroom was only partially painted. So the property manager, when showing the property, would promise the prospective tenants that this would all be fixed before moving in. I'm not that patient. Also, I have a vacancy. I'm not going to wait or sit around waiting for that to be something else to change. That would be the definition of insanity. So to me, I have to pay to finish the reno sooner or later anyways. So I prefer sooner if that means I can fill that vacancy faster. So I sent my best handyman, who's also my most expensive, but he's the most responsive, to go get it done. And what do you know? The vacancy filled the next week. This is why it is my preference to invest within an hour drive or so. So I may personally inspect stuff once in a while. I actually popped by the property shortly after we had dropped off a bunch of boots for the charity work that we do. Of note, the unit was spoken for because most of you know I bought the property in the summer, then we closed shortly after. We did have a young couple. They had great incomes and a great credit score, sign the lease to rent the property, but they had relationship issues before moving in, so they never actually moved in. We kept part of the deposit because, you know, we had to sit vacant because of them. But I'm glad that they let us know. So it's important to stay in communication with your tenants. And let them know, you know, I always tell people I'd rather hear no sooner than later. I'd rather hear you say no to renting my property now versus having moved in and then saying no. And then I have to move to evict you or work around the tenant's showings, for the tenant's schedule for showings for other prospective tenants. Anyways, I'd rather clean and simple. It's a lot less headaches and it's more profitable. So on to this week's show. During the pandemic, I picked up a new hobby called golf because during the early pandemic, you couldn't see your friends or clients unless it was on a golf course. From there, I was hooked. And as I personally enjoy mixing business with pleasure, playing golf and networking and doing business on the golf course. So what actually happened was, while golfing, specifically dinner and drinks after golf, it was there that I had a more in-depth conversation with Andre Matos, who is a home financing advisor at Scotiabank. He's also a Stock Hacker Academy alumni. It was there Andre explained to me the mortgage products available only directly from Scotia. So this was news to me. And so Scotia can offer mortgages on property owned inside a corporation. Again, that's news to me. And it was news to Cherry as well, because I told her about it right away, as we own 11 of our 12 properties are inside a corporation. If you're wondering if you should incorporate your investment properties, Cherry, my wife of realestatetaxtips.ca, offers a free report called 7 Questions to Ask Yourself When Deciding to Incorporate. You can go to realestatetaxtips.ca/7 questions report. All the links are in the show notes. You can always go to the website. Wherever you're listening to this, viewing this will be in the show notes. You can get the link there. You don't have to pull over, you know. Stay safe, folks. For those of you who are driving and listening to this, you don't have to try to write this down. It's all in the show notes. Don't worry. And even better if it's in your email as well, if you're on my email list. So Andre is a serious real estate investor. Hence, he has several mortgages in a corporation with Scotiabank. So he's doing it. He does it. And he offers it as well. He's a stock hacker. He actually, on the show, shared that he has made over $4,000 last month in cash flow from stock hacking. And he also names a couple of his favorite stocks. A couple of them I'm in as well, and hoping to add to. Anyways, so he's passionate about sharing practical advice and his experience to anyone who will listen. Also, he's an immigrant from Brazil. You can tell that from his accent when you listen to his voice. As always, this show is about experience sharing. I get nothing in return from Andre nor Scotia from having him on the show. So nothing we discuss today should be considered financial advice. For professional advice, go see a financial advisor. If you want to talk about real estate, you can talk about real estate all day. I'm licensed to trade in that. If you know a great financial advisor, Kathleen, you're already covered. We talk regularly. Probably need you back on the show soon. Anyways, if anyone else knows another financial advisor, or you are a financial advisor, that's awesome. Someone that has produced millionaires among their clients, I am all ears and would love to talk to you. All right, so please enjoy the show. Andre was keeping you busy these days.
Yeah. Mortgages, investments.
Non-stop, full-time?
Non-stop, full-time.
For some, that's living the dream.
Yes. For some will say, wow, why are you doing that? All of that. I said, well, because I love what I do. It's passion. Mm-hmm. I love to do my own real estate investments. And also I love to help people get finance, help them to achieve their dreams, right? Mortgage is, it's a very expensive finance. It's a long one. Yeah, it's investment. So you gotta know where you put your foot there. So I love to teach people how to do that one properly. Educate them. I think the goal is to educate, make them comfortable, understand what this, all the products that they're getting, all the components of the mortgage. I think that, it makes us busy, but it makes rewarding as well, because at the end of the day, when you see the client being happy that they got what they want and they understand everything that they got it, I think that's the goal.
Yeah, I don't know if people understand how magical mortgages are. That's a name for a brokerage. Anyways, so how long have you been mortgage agent, mortgage broker?
I started the journey in 2019, at the end of 2019. I started Scotia in May 2020, in the middle of COVID-19. So a year and a half, almost 2 years. I would say 2 years.
So so you started... So for those those people who aren't that familiar with how the mortgage industry works, how people work in it, like how did that start? What did you do before you had got into mortgages?
I was IT for many years. I left the IT to do real estate investment. Actually, I left because I want to have more time, my family. And then I, figured out what to do. And then I decided, let's do real estate investment. My wife was, trying to push me to do that. And we start doing, but then comes the need, say, I need to understand more finance. I just don't like to go and say, hey, I need a mortgage. Give me a mortgage. I want to understand.
It's a loaded question.
Exactly. I joke with people, we want to get a car. You walk in the dealer, you know the car that you're going to get it. You know exact, but you ask those questions just to confirm some of things. But I see people like myself before just walk, say, I need a mortgage. Give me a mortgage. Here's my property, I need a mortgage. He didn't care about everything, and the only thing that interests me was the interest rate at that time. I said, I don't like that.
It's like choosing a car based on horsepower.
Exactly. So I said,
300 horsepower, that's for me.
That's exactly what I want is that I want to learn how the finance works for investment properties. How to get that one and understand everything behind the scenes. Understand the ratios, because I want to see how, as an investor, I keep growing, okay, getting more properties, and I can sustain that one, the growth. Okay, so that was the goal. The second goal that came right after is, okay, now I achieved that one, I understand that one, I'm still learning, but I want to help people that weren't in the same situation that I was before. They were asking for a mortgage, but they don't understand what they're getting. So the goal was to really educate people and try to make them understand and make a better decision when they have all the information to make that decision.
Yeah, it's a common... one observation over the last 2 years is that how few inputs people need to make a decision on certain things, right? Often, I'm surprised how often they only need like two pieces of information to make a decision. So in the mortgage space, it'll be like, what's the interest rate? What's my monthly payment? Right? Without asking more questions.
Exactly.
Right? To me, that's absolutely silly. Right? Yeah, I'm sure you've seen a lot more problems than I have.
Yeah, but I think it comes from our parents and the parents. The only thing that they want to know is that, yes, is the interest rate. I need to get my interest rate. And, us as humans, we love to say, well, what did you get in interest rate for your house? Oh, you got 2%. Oh, I got 1.5. Look at that, how cool it is. I got a 1.5, better than you. So interest rate comes in a different, approach, but it can be used to make it, to feel, powerful, parents, facing your friends, but also I think people were educated to ask about just the interest rate and how much I'm paying per month. Okay, but I learned in the process, being a real estate investor, that is more than that. And I say, well, but you're doing that one just for real estate investing. No, you can apply the same strategy as when you buy your home. You need to understand. Oh, it's 25 years amortization, 5 years term for your mortgage, or 30 years. you need to know where you put your foot down. Okay. What about the penalty? I see people come and say, "Oh, I want to fix 5 years fixed term." Okay, great. What is your plan for the next 5 years? Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Why are you asking that question? I'm never going to move. Okay, you're never going to move, right? Do you know that the average mortgage in Canada is 3 years? The majority of Canadians are going to break the mortgage in 3 years, and then you're going to pay a huge penalty because you choose fix it, right? People move, you get a new job, you get a new location, it's too far from where you live, you want to live close by, or you move to the province, or the family is growing, or you're going to, reduce, you're going to downsize. All of these are going to affect. So when I'm trying to educate my clients, I say, what is your plan for the next 5 years? I know some things happen, but have you think about the penalty? People ask about cash flow. I love cash flow. I know that cash back. I like the cash back when I'm closing property because people needs cash back to pay for moving expense. But do you know if you break your mortgage, you need to return your cash back?
Oh, that's terrible cash back.
So if you get $2,000 cash back and then in 2 years you break your mortgage, or in 4 years because you need to do a renovation in your kitchen, what happened? You got to return that $2,000 that you got it.
Cash back.
And people forget about after 2 years, right? You forget about that you need to return your cash back after 2 months, 3 months. So there's all those things that people need to learn and understand.
Yeah.
And that's my goal, is to help them.
All right. Now, why the decision to go from being an independent mortgage professional to going to the bank? Because before we start recording, I mentioned generally I've only seen it go in one direction, from bank to independent. How come you went against against all that?
Well, I before working at Scotiabank, like I said, I was I'm still investor, okay, real estate investor, and the mortgage that I had, they were with Scotiabank. Because holding company, they were the ones that was doing a good deal for me. Okay, easy, 20% down payment, so 80% loan to value. So I was getting the product that I wanted. So when I went to the broker side, I could have access to those products. And my network has a lot of professionals, physicians, dentists. And they're all incorporated. They have a holding company. They want to invest inside the holding company, right? So I was not able to get that product. Yes, we have some there in the broker side.
So Andre, just hang on a second. We have some successful real estate investors on this show, not just as successful as doctors and lawyers and dentists who have holdcos as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's be inclusive here.
Yes. No. I agree. There's so many people. It's not only those ones. There's a lot of people that are incorporated, and people come to ask me, "Should I incorporate?" I say, "I don't know. You need to talk to your accountant first.
Right.
I'm here to help you to qualify for a mortgage and get a mortgage."
Right.
Okay. But yes, I was looking for a place to have the products that I need for my clients.
Right.
And Scotia was the one that I was having experience having those products. And for me to sell, because nothing at the end of the day, I'm selling mortgage in a sense, I need to sell something that I believe, have the products that I believe. And it's not because the broker side didn't have, they have great products, they have great lenders, but having access to specific products, I didn't have. So Scotia offered that one for me.
Again, this is not common.
No, it is not. It's the opposite. But I see things happening again. I see people leaving the broker side and coming to bank, or the opposite one. I know people have a lot of, after many years working in a bank, they move to the broker side. There's a decision, but I see a lot of people that never leaves the bank. They're still in the bank.
Okay, so for the more beginner investor, explain what a holding company is.
Holding company's structure is not an active business; it's a passive. So let's suppose if you're incorporated in a sense, let's suppose your income comes inside a corporation, and you draw income from the corporation as a salary or dividends, and you want to do investment, you open a holding company and you flow money from your corporation, your active business, to the holding company. Okay, so in my case, I have a holding company. We invest using that structure to just flow money from where it comes our income to a holding.
What's the benefit of having a holding company?
The benefit is just tax deferral. Okay, and don't get me wrong. People say, "Well, you're tax deferral, you're never going to pay tax. Yes, we're going to pay tax when we take the money later on, today or later on. It's just have the ability. So let's suppose if you have $200,000 inside the corporation. If you take that one as personally, you're going to pay tax right away. Okay. Let's suppose if depending on your bracket, let's suppose it's 50%. So you only have access to $100,000 from that 200,000. The other 100,000 is tax. When you flow that money to the holding company, what's happened is that you flow that $200,000 to the holding company, and you are able to invest 200,000 instead of just 100,000. Okay, so it increases your power to buy more properties or to buy properties that have a value that is higher than you could qualify as just having 100,000.
Yeah, from my experience, we have several corporations, a holding co or two. Pretty much every rich person I know personally has a hold co, so they're investing with these means. Now, can you share? Tell us about Scotia's offering. So obviously, you're biased. I'm biased too, because I have a whole bunch of mortgages at Scotia. So even though we're biased, like we're still eating our own cooking.
Yes. And like I said, I have my own mortgage with Scotia. I cannot do my own mortgage. I have another advisor that does that one. But all my mortgages are with Scotia, and I'm glad that I have. It's a great product. And I, like I said before, I sell things that I believe. So the products that we have, I believe in those products. And we have many products. We have, like, say, for people that came to Canada, I'm working with clients. They just arrived here in Canada. So we have a specific products for them. They don't have permanent residency yet. They have a work permit, and we have a product for them. So there's so many products that have purchase plus improvement, BFS programs for people that have income that varies. It's based on commissions or in bonus. So we have different type of products for everything, including total net worth. So let's suppose you reduce your income, but you have a lot of liquid assets personally. We can use that liquid assets to leverage and help you to get a mortgage.
Okay, so what about like the regular investor who's just they're Canadian, they've gotten a couple properties. I've had so many investors come to me and like their goals include 4, 8, 10 plus properties. Like in my experience, you usually need corporations to do so, but but I've heard lots of different mortgage professionals present me challenges with getting financing on corporations. Like what's your experience been?
Well, my experience inside the Scotia is not that. I don't have problems as long as because remember, you're buying that one and holding, but you personally need to guarantee. So up to 4 doors, 4 units, like 4 plaques, you still guarantee that one personally. Okay, so as long as you guarantee and you qualify, we can go up to 10 properties inside the Scotia, and we can put that one on a holding company.
Right. Yeah, because even the properties that we have that we got received financing for, properties that are in our corporation, we're still personally qualifying for them. And just in our case, it doesn't show up on our credit report. Does Scotia have a policy? Does it show up on your credit?
It depends on the client. It doesn't show, but it doesn't mean that we cannot find that you own more properties.
Right.
And like I mentioned to people, be upfront. Tell us what you all have, because we don't want to find out things that you didn't tell us, that you try to hide, because I want to help you, but I need to understand completely how you stand as today. If you have 2 holding companies, let's suppose I need to know about those. I need to know how many mortgages you have in each one, because I need to understand. I'm the one that is going to defend you with the bank. I'm going to be working to get you approved. So I need to understand that. I don't want to find out later that, I found out that you have another holding company, you had 3 other properties, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound good to you. Okay. So it's just a conversation and explain everything that you have with me and understand, so I can try to get your deal approved in the best way.
Right. So let's go to, what was your experience trying to get a mortgage for corporate owned properties before outside of Scotia, and then what was it once you were at Scotia?
We were successfully before 2017, and then 2017, 2018 they changed the rules, right? Then become very hard for me to get holding company. I was told in a broker that we were working. I was working, I was client this, and said, well, yes, we can finance to you personally, but we cannot do holding companies anymore. And then I said, well, okay, sounds good, but I don't accept that answer. I need to find solution. That's when I got connected with someone outside the Scotiabank, like myself, I'm a home financial advisor, and she was able to help me to get, and she taught me everything to get. She was actually my mentor to help to get learn things inside the Scotia.
Now, my experience has been different because I don't know if anyone's ever directed me towards Scotia for corporate mortgages. Why is that?
Because they don't want to lose the business, right? They want to find, let's suppose, I know that you can do
let's just say that's fair. It's not their job to sell someone else's product.
Exactly.
Right.
So on the broker side, they have access to lenders, banks as well. I think TD, and Scotiabank does on the broker side. But it's not all the products are available on the channel for the broker. So you don't have access to holding companies, okay, in a corporation from the broker channel. So they will try to find you the best deal, the best solution for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's available to them?
Available to them. Right. Exactly.
And this isn't available to them?
No, it's not available to them.
Is there a reason why? Is there a different risk level that lenders feel that is for holding companies?
I think it's a strategy, right? They have a different strategy.
Interesting. Okay.
I know that they bring a lot of business for the bank, and they do a great job. The good mortgage brokers are awesome. They help a lot the clients. But we're changing. We, as a mobile advisors inside the Scotia, we are not located in a branch. So we serve the clients, and we're working with only one product, which is a mortgage. So we are very specialized in that one. So we can provide a very good service as well.
Now, how many properties can I get from Scotia?
Oh, as long as you qualify.
Great question.
As long as you qualify up to 10 properties.
Up to 10 properties.
Up to 10 properties.
No exceptions needed to get to 10?
Well, it's about qualifications, right? Yes, up to 10 in the channel. After that is a case by case. You need to prove that you're a very good client of Scotia. You might be able. But it's, it's like I said.
So it's a bit comprehensive then.
Yes. And I tell it's exception, right? Exception, I tell my clients, it's 50%, 50-50. It's 50% you might get it, 50% you might not get it. So it's not a situation that I like to go.
Right.
I like to say, well, yes, we can do up to 10. And then I will try to find something inside the bank, another channel that can help you. Okay, which is kind of our situation. I'm trying to find solutions for myself to keep growing. But not stopping just 10 properties.
Right. And just as an FYI to folks, not many people own more than 10 properties.
Yes. It's not easy. It depends on your strategy. And I think it depends on your goals as a real estate investor. It's, how aggressive you are. What are your long-term goals? You're keeping the property for long-term for your kids. In the case we're keeping for ourselves, but the kids as well. We're going to pass this to the kids and teach them how to invest and keep those one and keep growing. I think it's all about strategy and what you feel comfortable. People say to me, well, I feel comfortable with 4. And then come 6 months later, a year later, say, hey, I changed my mind. I want one extra.
Yeah.
Okay. But some people say, no, I want more than that.
Right. And I think we can all appreciate that we don't want limits, right? We don't real estate investors generally do not want anyone to tell them what to do. Like, you can't have more than 10 properties. Like, well, I'll show you.
That's what I was told in the broker side. They say, well, you can only have 4 properties. I said, no, I don't like 4 properties. I want more. Okay, my wife said, well, slow down. I said, no, I don't want to slow down. It's a passion. And when you learn your strategy and you master that one, and of course, you still make mistakes. Don't get me wrong. But when you master the way that you invest, the strategy you do it, you don't want to stop just because people tell you, well, you only have 4. Or people say, well, I think 5 is good for you. Why 5 is good for me?
Okay, so let's start with the first property owned in a corporation. Say I'm a brand new investor. I already have a corporation. What do I need to qualify if I'm trying to buy let's say a duplex in Hamilton or Oshawa?
Yeah, same ratios as if you buy your personal home. So we're gonna assess your debt ratios. So your global debt service ratio, and you total that service ratio. So we have 39.44% there. So we need to adjust that one. We're going to use part of the income, let's say the income as from your rent. So let's suppose we're going to send appraiser there to appraise the property, and also the rent, how much is going to be the market rent for that. And we're going to use that towards your income or your debt service.
And when they're appraising rent, say it's a legal duplex, they have a permits and everything. Are they appraising the rent as a duplex?
Yes, as a legal duplex. Don't come with me and say, well, I have a basement that I rent the basement. Is a legal basement? Yeah. Do you have an agreement for that one? Can you rent? Is safe? Because it needs to be legal. If the appraiser goes there and say, well, it's not legal, if the basement is partially finished, you're trying to, trying to bring the bank that you have a full basement, legal basement, but it's not going to fly.
Right. And the same is true with like triplex, fourplex, sixplex if they're not legal.
Yeah.
Right. Just again, I need the new investors to understand that. That's personally that's why I always went with the legal route, because I knew I would always appraise for higher.
Yes.
Right. And if I can appraise for higher, and if my rents can appraise for higher, then I know my resale's higher. Right. It's just easy math to me, in my understanding of the world.
Yeah, and also as an investor, you need to have something that it doesn't bring liability for you, issues for you.
Some people don't care.
You don't want to have an illegal basement that something happened in that basement, then you're on a hook.
You'd be surprised how many people don't care.
I know.
Or people who sleep at night with those things.
I know. I can't sleep. For me, the property needs to be fully legal. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't invest.
Yeah.
I think it depends on your strategy and how you feel comfortable, right?
Yeah, how many triplexes and fourplexes are legal in Hamilton? And the answer is probably the same as true in Toronto and Barrie and Oshawa, all those places. Yeah. Like how many you live in Hamilton, like a fourplex in Hamilton. What are the chances it's legal?
Yeah. But that's why you need to, I joke with people, say, when you become a real estate investor, you need to surround yourself with people that can bring value and help you to grow, right? Mm-hmm. So it's your real estate agent, is your mortgage advisor, is your accountant. All of these people, your lawyer, all these people needs to help you, right? The appraiser guy that's going to work with you, or the inspector that's going to inspect your property to tell you that there is no big issues, or you're buying that. So you need to get all these teams. So your realtor needs to help you to find properties that really it's good investment. And I feel that sometimes you go see properties that's, it's not a legal duplex, how am I going to do finance? So then it becomes complicated, because think about the bank comes there, so, I can finance for you, but it's not legal duplex. I cannot finance as a duplex. Now you have only one rent. And you don't want to have that one because you're buying as a duplex. Yeah. But now your income is not as a duplex.
Right. And that hurts your debt service ratios. Exactly. And then you can't finance as much.
No, and then when you're going to sell, are you going to sell that as a legal duplex? You can't sell as a legal duplex. So it becomes all these issues. Well, people try, right? It's like buying 2 bedrooms plus 2 bedrooms in a basement, but the bedrooms in the basement cannot be used as a bedroom because, there is no all the codes. It's complicated. So I'm very conservative on those side. I'm very aggressive, and I look at the numbers as an investor and say, if the numbers make sense for me, it's a good deal. Okay. Of course, we add the location, type of tenant I'm going to have. Okay. All those factors come inside as a decision as an investor. And then comes the finance side, say how it looks as a finance investor. But what happened, I want to be comfortable to go on bed at night, put my head in his, the pillow and sleep. I don't want to have headaches and say, wow, what's happening if that one is not legal? I'm trying to rent as things that is not proper legal. I don't want to have headaches.
That's funny because you mentioned headaches, but I'm thinking hopefully people listening to this episode can now dream bigger, because you can get mortgages on a corporately owned property the same as someone's home, because in my opinion mortgages are easy. So is it the same thing true with the second, third, fourth? It's basically like qualifying for buying a home as long as your debt service ratios are there?
Yes, and it works for me as an investor. Remember, let's say if you split Andre, say, Andre mortgage advisor Scotia, and then separate from Andre investor. So as an investor, I need to qualify personally, my wife and myself. And if we don't qualify, we cannot buy. So it's the same rules for us, inside the corporation or outside. Well, the only thing is that it's going to be registered inside the corporation. So we're going to keep that one inside, but I need to qualify, and I'm going to be as a guarantor for that property. So
now you're a mortgage professional. I have a I was going to say hypothetical, but it's not true. Like my cousin last week offered on a condo in Toronto. So you're a real estate investor, so you understand all these things. So my cousin offered on a condo in King West in Toronto downtown, and he's telling me he's going to negative cash flow $600 a month.
Oh.
I said, I know you don't know me that well, cousin. I'm cash flow positive in my duplexes in Hamilton. Like, who do you think is going to get their next mortgage faster? So I'm just a commissioned realtor. Like, you're the mortgage professional. Who's going to get another mortgage faster?
Well, it's going to help the cash flow for sure.
Okay.
Because the cash flow, if you have a cash flow positive in your property, it will increase your capacity, your ability to get more mortgage for your property, right? They've got that approved. If your cash flow is negative, it will affect your debt ratios. It goes towards your liability. So it might not affect you in your first property, but it will affect you in the second or third. Okay,
that's pretty quick.
Exactly. It's all dependent on your income. Yeah. If your income personally supports that cash flow negative, it's one thing. There's a lot of people that invest, and depending on the strategy, they're investing to park the money or to grow on the real estate, but they don't need to withdraw funds from there. So they are buying properties, maybe now with cash flow negative, but they're looking in 10 years, the projected, to become a positive cash flow. But it depends on your strategy, it depends on your income. If your income is tight, and you depend on that cash flow to qualify for future properties, then it's become an issue. Okay, so it's all about strategy, what you can do. So it's building the strategy with people that surround you, like I mentioned. You got to talk to your realtor, but you need to talk to your mortgage advisor. The mortgage advisor, like myself, I'm going to talk to the client and see what is your goal, how can I understand your goals today, but I also get your mortgage tomorrow. But after that, do you want to buy more properties? We got to plan that. So once you close that property, get that one funded, then we start working in the next one that you're going to do. Okay, to see if you qualify or what strategy we can build for you to help you to qualify in the future. Okay, so cash flow is important, but it's not essential. It depends on your strategy.
So imagine like my cousin wants to own like 10 of these condos. He'd be negative $6,000 a month. You'd have to make a lot of income to cover that.
Exactly.
Versus if I have 10 duplexes that caught positive cash flow, like, again, I'm not criticizing the strategy. If his goal is only to own 1, 2, 3 condos max, totally fine. Like, you want simple, I can totally appreciate that. It's better than holding cash.
Yes.
Right? It's better than most investments.
Yes.
Right? But if you want to scale, you need to... You need more cash flow.
Yes, you need more cash flow. As an investor, like when we look the four ways to win, like passive appreciation, active appreciation, cash flow, and then also the principal recapture. We look at all these analysis to make the numbers for us as investor. But yeah, it affects you in the future to buy more properties.
Right. And then I explained to him my plan is to add eventually a third suite to my properties and maybe even a fourth. Right, you can't do that with your Toronto condo.
No.
Right.
No.
So I'm just trying to open up his mind to other opportunities, so then he's not just thinking about one thing. And that's kind of the point of the show, is to, hear from some experts on what they're doing. Maybe you want to try that rather than just trying to pigeonhole yourself in just one strategy. Because my comment to him was like, you're young, hustle a little bit. Right.
Well, and people think that market in Toronto, they think that it's awesome. Yes, it's great.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Yes, it's great. But there are other markets.
Yeah.
And I have properties in Toronto, but the ones that I have, let's say in Ancaster region, Hamilton, went up in value much more than Toronto.
I know.
So if people say, where you want to go to invest? Do you want to invest in Toronto again? Well, might. I'm not saying no, but I'm focused where I can get more for my bucket.
Yeah. So can you talk to your own investing? What do you what was your investor journey? What was your first investment property?
So my first investment property was in Ancaster. We bought that one. It was we made a lot of mistakes on that one. Like I was telling Cherry, we bought inside a medical professional corporation for my wife. It's not supposed to be there. So you learn making mistakes, right? Because, like I told people, first thing that before you start your journey as a real estate investor, learn. Educate yourself.
Yeah.
So we thought we'll buy the property. It's going to be good. Yeah, we had some. Yeah, the property was awesome. It went up in appreciation like insane. That property generates another 2 properties that we got when we refinanced that one. So one thing that I learned a lot was leverage. Okay, so that first one I would say was bump in the road, but at the end of the day is an awesome property, the location, and brought us other things and brought us experience as investor. We started that one I think was in 2000, end of the early 2015.
Oh, it's not even that long ago.
Not long.
Right.
Okay. So we haven't started like 10 to 15 years ago. It's not that long.
And it was, like, well, what kind of property was it?
It's a townhouse.
Townhouse?
Townhouse.
Freehold?
We thought the townhouse would be a good place to start, the type of property.
Yeah, low maintenance. Yeah.
Yes, low maintenance. And that was a full condo. I said, well, I'm not having a headache. I don't need to cut the grass. I don't need to take care outside. The condo property, which is great. But the condo fees go up every year, right? So, and your rent sometimes doesn't go up every year proportionally the same one as the condo fees. So you got to be careful with that, okay? But it was a good strategy. The other strategy that I loved and we play a lot is buying pre-construction, okay? Because I can spread.
Where do
we
you buy
bought
them?
pre-constructions in Toronto. We bought pre-construction in Lancaster, even in Grimsby,
Got it.
okay? Again, many of those pre-constructions were townhouses because of the type of demographic we were targeting as a tenant and location. Okay.
Sorry, Toronto was townhouses too?
No, Toronto
that'd
is
be crazy.
condo.
Okay.
That's crazy.
High rise apartment condo.
I wish I could because, you know, if you look at the price of the townhouse in Toronto, but even though I still think Lancaster is better, Hamilton is much better. Okay. Toronto, like I said, don't get me wrong, Toronto is a beautiful place. It's an amazing place to invest. But you need to know how you're in Toronto. And we're close to here in Lancaster, you know, Hamilton, it's close to me. It's easy for me to manage all these properties. So I like that.
Sorry, the Ancaster Grimsby properties, townhouse condos or freehold?
Townhouses. Grimsby is a condo.
High rise condo?
High
Rise condo.
not very high. I think they're 10 floors maximum.
Got it. And everything's worked out?
Yeah. Awesome cash flow. Okay. But that property, we put a little bit more down payment, which was, I think we put 25% down payment at that time.
Right.
Which is part of your strategy. Like I said, I can't do 80% loan to value for my clients, but it depends on your strategy. If you want 25% down payment, like 75% loan to value, it's up to you.
And these are all in corps?
Oh,
All of them?
all of them.
You only invest in corps? Nothing personal?
Nothing person.
Interesting. Cool.
The only thing in person is the primary home, which I take a lot of equity from there and inject on the company.
Right. Because I'll even just comment that, like, for my listener, if they're investing personal now and they're listening to my show, they're likely going to be investing in corporations eventually. Maybe not. Maybe they don't qualify today. Some of them actually probably shouldn't be doing corporations. Yeah. But if you're serious, it's going to happen eventually. Yeah. Cool. And the show is about Canada.
Oh my!
I don't know if the listener noticed you have an accent.
Yes.
Not of Canada.
No, I'm a Brazilian. I love my accent.
So you're Brazilian. So you surf, you do jiu-jitsu, you do football.
Oh, no, I'm a Brazilian that loves to ski, love to skate. So I'm a ski instructor. I love to teach people how to ski, kids and adults. Adults is someone that I love because, I know how it's hard to learn how, ski as an adult.
Yeah, it hurts way more to fall as an adult
Oh,
than a
yes,
kid.
yes. and remember, we overthink too much, right? So we want to plan ahead. Okay, I got to put my ski. How I got to put it? Okay, I go down. Can I go in that direction? Can I go in that one? So you got to plan. Ski doesn't work like that.
Well, it's fast.
It is fast, but you need to learn properly. And learning properly, it is a fun activity. I tell people you don't know how ski can help you in all the sense, and even family, because it's a family sport, and I love that.
Yeah, you bring how often you ski a lot with your family, right?
Yes,
and your kids.
yes. My older one is in alpine racing ski in Chicopee. I teach in Chicopee. My wife loves to ski. She's more conservative. She's low down, and my little one loves to ski too. My 8 years old. He's still learning. Moving forward, and my son, the older one, does snowboard just for fun because kids gotta do snowboard, right?
That's cool.
I told them, okay, you learn ski first, When you get good in ski, you don't need to be professional ski, best. But once you know the ability of how to handle ski well, safe, then you can do snowboard as well. I think it's good for them to learn too.
Yeah. Learn some etiquette first and how to get on and
Yeah.
off the chairlift. Way easier with the skis than the snowboard.
Oh yeah, snowboard is so easy. I can tell you. I tried snowboard one time. I plan to do it again. I would say that 95% of the time I was on the ground. The 5% I was up, it was so fun. I had so much fun. I thought that was awesome. But I didn't have time and opportunity to go back again. But I will. It's in the plan.
You think you had more fun snowboarding than skiing?
I don't know.
Or
It's
same?
different sensation.
I
It's
don't
different
know.
balance, different sensation.
You have so much blind spot when you're snowboarding. I'm so risk adverse, and it's funny because like my friends who aren't investors with me, like friends who aren't in the investor world, they think I love risk. I actually have no idea how risk adverse I am. Like I don't gamble. I don't go to a casino.
Yeah, neither I.
Right?
I work very hard for my money. I don't like
Yeah.
to waste my money.
Yeah. And like I said, like I don't like biking on the road. That's why I have a stationary bike at home.
Yeah.
Right? I'm so risk adverse. It's not even funny. So what are you teaching your kids about investing?
I'm trying to teach them budget, saving money, and use wisely. It's so easy for the kids to come to parents and ask a parent, oh, buy this, buy that. I say, okay, so you have your allowance. Use your allowance to buy things that you want. But usually wisely, because if you have, let's say, $50 in your pig bank, but you use in one shot, then you don't have anything to buy anymore. Next week you want something else. Oh yeah, I use all my money there. So it's a planning. I'm trying to teach them how to invest or to keep the money and make a budget. That's the goal.
It's funny because a lot of folks who come on the show and people I know, they're often the first generation with significant wealth and affluence. So it's like a really top concern is how to raise humble kids, right? Because your kids see you live different than most.
Now I bring them to the properties to show them and said, this is a hard work, but you need to help. One of the properties we were doing renovations and I brought them to help in the backyard, help inside. I want them to learn, to grow.
What do they think? Do
they like it, but they complain a lot as a kid, right? Oh, it has been an hour. It has been only 10 minutes, but for them it's an hour, right? So it's like you need to build up. Sometimes I need to count until 100 instead of 10. I need to count and say, whoa, let's cool down. Yeah, but they love, and I think, it's a process. They will not do it in one shot. It's a process of education. I get the phone. I show them doing their, the investments in the stock. I say, well, look at this. Look at the graph. Look at like the chart. I try to teach them to show slowly that we do that, so they can get that. I would say they get the taste and start enjoying.
Right.
I think it's important for us. Remember, I didn't learn how to do investment in school, not even budget.
All right.
We're not taught to do that. You're taught to go 9-to-5 job. That's it. I want more than that.
Well, what did you get? What did you come from? As in like Brazil. So actually, first off, I find too many people complain about Canada. But you know who complain?
You don't know how lucky we are here in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. You made what year did you come? How old were you when you came to Canada?
We came here almost 20 years ago.
Why did you come to Canada?
We came to study.
Study?
Okay? Yes,
Yeah.
we were doing postgrad studies. But I had in mind that I want to come and we previously came in Canada in 2001 to visit, to see about studying here, do postgrad studies, and I was having a sensation, how is Canada?
Right.
Because before in 1999 I spent a lot of months in the U.S. in California, and I like it's different from Brazil, of course. But I always visioned myself to live outside of Brazil. And I thought Canada was a great place in terms of education, the people here, the acceptance for immigrants. Yes, we have issues, but we're open mind. And I love the way that Canada it is.
Right.
You feel proud to be a Canadian. That's what I will feel. And we talk about my kids. I said, we don't know how lucky we are to be here in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, And we thank you every single day to be Canadians. And we feel proud of that one. Sometimes people say, well, you forgot about Brazilians. No, I've never forgot that I'm a Brazilian, that I born there. I came from there. But I think you start losing that connection and become more Canadian, embrace Canada, and because my kids born here. So I want them to have that same experience.
Did they go back? What city are you from?
I came from Belo Horizonte, which is a Minas Gerais state. It's close between São Paulo state and Rio de Janeiro state.
Oh, it's in between. Okay.
It's between. It's a countryside.
Okay.
If you look at the Brazil map, you will see, if you see the lines for each state, you will see that Minas Gerais is kind of ahead with a nose. It's a very nice state. Lots of farms, lots of mountains, beautiful place. A lot of waterfalls, amazing.
Yeah, it's paradise.
Yeah, it's paradise.
You came here.
Yeah. Economy.
Oh.
Safety.
Oh, yeah, those things are good here?
Yes.
You mean those things don't happen everywhere else in the world?
No.
Because I hear so many people becoming communists in Canada. It's time to leave.
Oh, no, we are not. People think about that one, right?
Yeah. I saw a friend of mine posted something about Justin Trudeau today about how much inflation he's creating. Right? I saw Brazil was like #1 for how much inflation they have. Right?
Yeah, I still remember when one of these times that, many years back in Brazil, that 1 month inflation in Brazil was almost 85%.
Oh my God.
85% 1 month. Okay?
And people here are freaking out about 5-6% in a year.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody likes inflation.
No one likes it.
Nobody likes, but I think it is that people need to understand how things work. And yes, we need to keep our politicians, on track, but nothing is perfect.
Yeah. Let them know we don't like it.
Yeah.
But in like the grand scheme of the world.
Grand scheme of the world, I can tell you, we're very, very lucky. This is an amazing place. I would not exchange for any other place.
Yeah, I like you too. But you did leave paradise. I've been to Rio. I've been to...
Oh, yeah. The beaches are amazing. Can tell you, the farms are amazing. The countryside, it's beautiful. And then, Brazil is a big, big country. So if you go north, south, east, west, there are different, the environment, the nature is completely different.
Friendly people.
Yeah. A lot of people are, the majority of people, Brazilians are very nice people. It's just like, it's a corruption in a sense. Okay. It's a bad.
Yeah, they have their
and the violence,
like
consequence of corruption. So, yeah. But Brazilians are nice people, and it's a beautiful place. I don't know about visiting at this point. I would love to go and visit many places that I grew up and I saw. I might bring my kids. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. Well,
I still want to, explore more Canada. I think we're a very beautiful place, and I want to experience them.
Yeah, because I know Brazil struggled with the pandemic.
Yes, but many other places too, right? India, a lot of places, even Europe.
Oh yeah, and we're not going to go into that.
We're not. It's a lot of conversation about that.
Are you talking to your kids about stocks too?
Yes, I tell them that we're investing in stocks, and I want them to learn about stocks like we learn. Okay, because I think you need to take charge of your life. You need to make the decisions. You can't just say, well, I gave my money to somebody else, invest. It didn't do well, but, it's their fault. It's not my fault. Well, okay. And I don't like people to say, well, what is your, conservative, you're moderate, or you're aggressive as investor, because then we're going to adjust your portfolio. I don't like that one anymore. I want to take charge. That's why we did the training. Okay, because like I said, people got to educate yourself first. Understand the risk. There are risks, but there are rewardings too.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's so nice when you look on your phone or on your computer in the desktop and see how much realize you made. Yeah, but there are months, there are weeks that you don't do that well. But it's a learning process, right? And I think for me, doing that one was the next step, and I'm so glad that I did. And my wife as well. Because we're in charge. We decide what we want to do, the way we want to do it. And I want to pass that to my kids. So I show them, we're doing this and that. Yeah, sometimes they don't understand yet, but I want to keep doing that one, so a repetition, so they can start learning and enjoy. And then eventually when they're allowed to do their own investment, they start doing their own investment. But I want to play with some paper trade with them, give them the ability to do it, and figure out how, things work.
I was talking to a gentleman last night over dinner. He works in the trade, so he's never been into stocks and stuff. He goes, oh, that's really complicated stuff. And like, well, you ever stayed in an Airbnb? I was like, oh yeah, I love Airbnb. You know, do you think they did well? He goes, oh yeah, they got me killing right now. Like, you know, I stock hack Airbnb. He's like, you can do that? Like, yeah. They have kids. Like, everyone with kids shops at Costco. He's like, you're at Costco? He goes, oh yeah, I love their hot dog. I go get a hot dog and they go shopping, and then you go for socks, you walk out with $600 worth of goods. It's like, do you think they have a good business? He goes, yeah, they have a good business. Like, I stock hack Costco. Like, you do? You could do that? Like, yeah. Like, people like think it's so something that's out of reach.
Yes.
But really, are you still just doing everything on your phone?
Yes, I do on the phone, and I start learning the desktop. Every time I'm trying more to do in the desktop, but I use the phone, I use the iPad. Every place I am, I always checking, because you don't want to lose an opportunity to make money, right? To make a buy or stock or sell an option, which is good, or close something that is going to go sour, or roll it up.
Right.
Have an exit strategy for that. So I'm always that one and check as much as I can. I'm still in the learning process yet, evolving, because it's a long journey.
I think it's forever learning.
Yes. So I'm not that, but at the same time, I love to do that. And I keep asking myself, like the real estate, I never punish, let's say, why I didn't do that 5 years ago. The point is that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
It's like the real estate. Don't complain that you haven't got in the market 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago. Do it at the moment that you feel comfortable, go and do it. So the stocks was, for us, was very important.
You have any favorites right now? You have any favorites right now?
I'm trading AMD. I like NEO.
Yeah.
AMD is one of my favorites. I trade Apple.
I should just traded so much
Walmart.
for AMD. Yeah, Walmart. Yeah, these.
Baba.
Yeah, you're in Baba too.
Baba.
You know, I wonder in 5 years we're gonna look back and laugh.
And there's
sorry for the listeners' perspective. Like lots of major Chinese tech stocks, especially tech stocks, have just been hammered lately, and the valuations. Again, this is opinion, not advice, but the valuations. It just looks so cheap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I always want to have stocks. Let's suppose I'm an Apple guy. I love Apple products, and it's not because I was Windows for many years. I just feel that it's more friendly. Okay, and I love the tech. Because IT, right? Background IT. I joke with people that I'm retired. I know my wife comes say, there's a problem in the computer. I'll call the technician. I'm not a technician. I'm retired. I don't give more tech, info anymore. But I love, I always want to have Apple stocks. And I didn't know why I didn't have Apple stock like 10 years ago, 15 years, because I thought it was too complicated.
Yeah.
Come on.
Now, is it complicated?
No.
Remember you thought it was complicated?
You thought was something out of the space, out of the earth. Right. I said, well, that's so complicated. I'm going to lose money. Why I'm going to do that? But once I learn how to do that, I have stocks for Apple, like Amazon. I want to keep all of that. Yeah. Some of them I make cash flow. I want a cash flow to do other things. But some I want a long-term investment. So I have different accounts for that. And I'm still building my strategy. I'm still learning to figure out how I'm going to do more. Okay, but I love the sensation to own those stocks. And maybe the stocks are down now, but I believe on those stocks. Yeah. So I know that eventually they're going to go up. There is a reason why I'm on that trade. Okay, it's not just buying because everybody tells you, invest on that one because it's growing. No, it's going to go up. You got to believe.
Yeah. Because like the company, for example, the companies you mentioned, like they all make money. Yeah. Right. Like even if we're down on Walmart in a month, like I remember when Costco got down to like 280, I'm like, I'm kicking myself. What's Costco now? Do you follow Costco?
Yeah. Well, think about Disney. I have stocks from Disney. I do options on trade in Disney, and think about it's down. Okay, but it's something that I believe, something that we go south, we love, the kids love. I still believe. Yeah. So eventually it's going to go up again, and I'll be there.
Yeah, I need to grab some of this dip. Again, folks, this is all opinion, not advice.
All opinion. Don't, do your own.
Do your own due diligence.
Yes.
Yeah, I enjoy it too. And then I'm on the same journey as you are, trying to figure out how much for long term, how much for medium term risk, how much for cash flow. Yeah. But it's all great. It's better to be learning these things and making money than not doing them.
Yes, and do yourself, which is I love.
Yeah, because
then I'm responsible for the one. The rewards are mine, and the strategies are mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the analogy that Derek Foster gave was if you let someone else manage your money, the management expenses will work out to about half of your profits. So if you just do it yourself, then you're that much further ahead.
Yes, yes, yes. And figure out, don't believe what people tell you. Get a spreadsheet, open Excel file, and do the math. Put the numbers there, okay? And see how much you're getting, really, compared to what they are telling you. Because, the language is a little bit different. The language is complicated. It's like when we talk to real estate, we talk about real estate and people are not in the field. They feel, wow, that's too complicated. What about that cap ratio, that ratio? What is those numbers? I said, you learn, you educate yourself. You're going to learn and see that it's not that complicated.
Yeah, it's not that complicated.
So it's a process. Yeah. I tell people, and we're still on the early stage. Remember, we took the training in March, and then I took the advanced one in April. It's still a journey, and I don't think that one will end. Like you said, it's going to be forever. We're learning this forever. Right. Even the real estate investment, we're still learning. And things change. And you need to be adapt.
Things change.
I'm thinking about cryptocurrency. Should I jump in? I think like I should have jumped when the Bitcoin came. But there is always the time to get. But I need to educate myself about that before I'm still trying to do stocks and options in cryptocurrency. But buying, actually, we're thinking. Not there yet.
Are you doing any stock hacking on any crypto stocks? Like Riot, Marathon,
no, was Mara. Mara was before. I don't have Mara.
Right. Yeah, I like Hut lately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely appreciate the Bitcoin maximalist perspective that nothing's better than holding the real thing, because we experienced it with Riot just a few weeks ago. They raised more capital, so then the stock price went down. So then the stock didn't move along with Bitcoin, so that sucks.
But it's part of the strategy, right? You're not putting all the eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
So you spread around. So when you look on all your portfolio, you see that one was not that great, but the other one was great and helps that one. So you have a balanced portfolio. So I think it's the same thing for the real estate. You got to have a balance. So the stock is, it's very fun, I would say.
It is fun. It's also stressful too.
Oh yeah.
Like when you were, I don't know if we were recording at the time. You talked about having a TV and showing prices. That to me, that'd be stressful. I don't need here. I'll give you an example. I haven't brought this up in a while. But back in early 2020, when the pandemic started, would you have wanted to see what your real estate prices were doing?
Right? Everybody was like crazy. Right?
Everyone was crazy. Yeah. But you know what? Like for myself, my own experience was it wasn't that crazy because I didn't see it. I couldn't see that I was losing money in like March, April, May. Probably my real estate was probably declining in value, right? But I was pretty bullish on real estate still, and then it all worked out very well.
No, we went and right people that were investing. We were on that at that time, so we ended up losing money on that time when people were investing our money. But I see that if I were at that time, today I would be much better than I am now.
Oh, yeah.
Because it went up, right? It's all about strategy, of course. It went deep.
Sorry, it's not just about strategy. All these people say, I'm going to wait for the dip, I'm going to buy the dip. When there was a dip in real estate, I'm going to buy. Yeah. How many people were there that were buying?
Yeah.
I
bought 2 last year.
Good for you.
In March and April.
Oh.
And I love those properties that I bought it. One closed in June. We made money. The other one is closing next year. It's like almost double the price. It's
what kind of property?
Insane. Townhouse. Freehold. Ancaster.
Ancaster freeholds?
Freeholds.
Yeah.
So and people look at me and say, what are you buying? And I said, well, I bought 2. I know people that bought 10, 15, 20 properties. Right. Those are big investors. Right. But everybody bought when it was down. And because they believe in the product. They believe in the future that this will come back and we could grow. It's like people talk to me about bubble. Real estate is a bubble. We're going to crash. How can we crash if we don't have a supply? How many people need home? How many immigrants we get every year? We don't have supply. How can you fix the supply chain, the supply for new properties in a short term, like a year, 2 years? How many houses can you build in a year, 2 years? You can't. So
especially with Hamilton, urban boundaries restricted now.
Yeah. So it's all, you need to know the market, you need to know the numbers. But like people say on if it bleeds, it leads. I think you make news to say bad things, but when you look down,
yeah, because like the word bubble will get more clicks.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. I don't believe
Crash,
those one.
bubble, those are
people
great things
people
for
talk,
clickbait.
oh, it's gonna crash. Crash what? Yeah. Interest rates is gonna go up. Lock yourself in a fixed rate.
Yeah, if you're not worried.
Well,
Yeah.
if you have a plan in place and you know how much money you're saving, paying a low interest rate, let's say a variable that you have now, but you have a strategy, how much money you're gonna save until it catches up with the fixed rate. So it's all about strategy.
Well, it's good to talk to someone actually you live it yourself, so you can explain from your own experience. And I was actually debating with someone over Facebook, which is really stupid thing to do. What if Ontario crashes? My response was, if my house has crashed 20%, I will have given back 1 year of appreciation.
Yeah.
I will be just fine.
Yeah, I'll be the same position because
I was last year.
and people come to me and say, "Well, you love this market, right?" I say, "No, I don't love this market. I don't like this because
Me neither.
It's hard for me to buy new properties, right? It's hard to find good price on properties. I love I want a market that goes up in a reasonable pace instead of going like 35-40%, but
no, that's unhealthy.
But that's what we're living, okay? And it's not unhealthy because we don't have a supply. Once we have the supply back, this issue will be fixed. But when are we going to have that? How many years we need to fix the supply that we have, the lack of supply we have? It's going to be probably 5-10 years at least if we start building with the number that we need every year.
I don't think we'll ever.
I don't have the numbers, but I hear people, people that knows this market. It's a huge number of properties.
And like Adam here, like he's a millennial. He wants a house, right? Because he wants to be able to start a family and stuff. But what's everything being built? It's all up in the sky, right? It's all.
Yeah, and then people come to us. Well, the problem is you guys. You're a real estate investor. You're buying all the properties, guys.
Yeah.
If you don't have qualification to buy, you need to rent. If I don't have the proper, how is going to rent?
Yeah.
So we're providing some service and places as well. So we're not the problem.
We're not the problem.
Okay. And people think that we are the problem, but we're
They just want
not.
to point fingers.
Yeah. I think what we need to do is that work together to fix this supply issue because it is affecting everybody. We have kids. Where are kids going to buy a house?
Yeah.
So when, where, how much it's going to cost them in 15, 20 years? Think about if it keeps going up like the number that we discuss every year.
Right.
It's going to be crazy.
Right. And then I'd like all listeners to at least have that, like, ask the question, where do you think prices will be when your kid needs a house? Right. If it's going to be a lot more, maybe you should hedge, buy a house today.
Yeah.
Right. To me, it's always been about hedging. When I started real estate investing, I was looking for like 3 to 5% appreciation a year. I'd be more than happy with that.
Me too.
Right? That'd be healthy.
Think about that. Somebody's paying that the principal for you and the interest for you. So the principal recapture, it's paying for you. So it's more than 3-5% at the end of the day if you put in a math.
Yeah.
We were happy with that.
Yeah, very happy.
Of course, 10, 15, 20% is good. Yeah. But it's not something that we're looking forward as investor. We want something more stable. It's a great opportunity to grow because if you know how to use leverage, you can refinance properties that you have that you bought 2-3 years ago, and then you have equity. You take that equity and buy new properties. That's a good opportunity now.
Oh, Andre, I meant to ask you. I haven't asked you yet. You're interested in buying land these days?
I'm trying to buy more properties that have lands. Yeah. But I'm looking to see if I can jump on the land for future use. But for now, I'm just switching the type of properties I have. We have too many condos or too many townhouses. I want a properties like a single detached home with big lots. So to invest, maybe do flips, do duplex or triplex or like a semi-detached, okay, or keep for my kids.
Yeah. I just don't know when it's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see. It came out just yesterday, an article, a new report in City Toronto about allowing more duplex, triplex, fourplex in roughly 50% of City Toronto downtown, right, to kind of level the playing field. Because if you live downtown, you're probably a millionaire, multimillionaire. And so it pretty much excludes a lot of people from being able to live there. So the report went out, was available yesterday, it's an election year in 1 year for the city of Toronto. Let's see if they do it. Because cities they copycat, right? Let's see city of Toronto do it first, and then maybe it'll propagate out, right, to like Oshawa, Barrie, Innisfil, Orillia, London, Hamilton, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, because then, like, for example, if you buy that single family detached with a 50 by 120, 160 lot,
you can make a semi-detached easily in that lot.
with with basement suites.
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be amazing.
Right?
You can flip to somebody else for other investors, or you can flip to yourself, or sell individually. Mm-hmm. It's always strategy. It's about strategies.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying to you when we're outside before we're recording is, like, you may just want to sit on it.
Yeah.
Wait, because once that zoning comes, then your property just jumps in value, right?
It's a long-term plan.
Yeah.
So we don't buy property just to keep for 1-2 years. We buy property strategy to keep for long term. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that's a long-term strategy that we have. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean that you cannot shift from one model to what. Let's say what we are doing, trying to shift from full condos to single homes. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We feel that the strategy now is working quite well. Right. Flip is something that we're building up to do more. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's a good strategy. Having lot with land, buy a property with a big lot in a nice area, because you hold that one for a long time, you can do whatever you want in 10, 15 years. Mm-hmm. And you plan for something for 10 years, say, well, I'm going to flip that one in 10 years. Sometimes you say, well, I'm going to keep it.
Yeah, you might keep it.
Yeah, you never know what is your strategy later on. Mm-hmm. You always change and adapting. That's the good point of real estate.
Mm-hmm. You bring up an excellent point, because I remember when... before basement apartments were legal to do, with our clients, we actually bought a lot of houses that didn't have sufficient basement height for basement suites. Like, we didn't know. We didn't, like, I owned a couple myself, and it's just too expensive to dig those basements out and make secondary suites. But my point is, though, is that once basement apartments became legal, it took a little time to happen, but those houses with basements that would work for secondary suites, they would start going up in value faster than the houses with only like 6'3" basements, right? And that's the importance of keeping an eye on the future, like highest and best use. What opportunities exist for this property? So, like you're saying, like a property with a 50-foot lot, right? That's deep. You could, given like 5-10 years, you'll probably, the zoning, what you can do with it will probably change.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. It depends on the location you bought it, the strategy, but I some of that when changing the zoning, you're going to go up in appreciation.
Yeah. Okay? And then I'll argue that you have much more upside with that investment than a condo, any sort of condo, any sort of townhouse. Right. Actually, no, I believe in Hamilton. I think a lot of municipalities will eventually start allowing end unit townhomes to have basement suites. Yeah, so if you're gonna do a townhouse, end suite would give you potentially more upside, right? Obviously, it's gonna be expensive to dig an entrance.
Yeah, but there's a strategy as well, and I teach some of students or people, parents that have kids that are moving to study in another location. Say, think about buying a property. If you are looking to buy a property for your kids to study, let's suppose my kid go to London. I'm going to buy a property in London so that it doesn't need to pay rent. Mm-hmm. Well, think about buying maybe a duplex or triplex. He's going to live for free because you can rent the other two and your kid's living for free. Mm-hmm. So use that strategy. You come to study here, depending on where you're doing, you have a line of credit. Think about using that line of credit. Instead of buying a fancy car, think about buying maybe a triplex, a duplex. So you can, almost live for free or free.
Yeah, I actually have firsthand experience knowing that those people made money, because often we were buying the house from them. we provided their exit. The family would have made like 30 grand, 60 grand, 70 grand while the kid was going to school. Right? Because again, we lived it. We bought the house from them.
No, if I think that when we moved to Montreal to here, because when we came to Canada, we were in Montreal.
You don't mind the cold at all, right?
No, not at all. Montreal is warm. It's beautiful.
Oh, okay.
It's a beautiful place. And I thought, no, I want a single home. No, I don't want to. Today, if I had that, if I go back 15 years, 17 years, I have bought a triplex here and I would live for free. Okay. And later on have my own home. Okay. But use that one as a leverage. And I would never sell that one. I would keep that one as much as I could. Okay?
Awesome.
I don't like to have the, when I look back, say, well, yeah, I sold that property that I used to live and bought this new one that, even for primary resident, if I think today, I said, wow, I wish I knew what I know now and kept that property, because now it would be a rental for me.
Yeah.
More income.
Hopefully we're saying the same thing about all these stocks you just named, let alone real estate. Andre, I have trouble answering this question. A lot of people ask me, what should I do first? Should I invest in real estate, or should I do stock hacking, or do whatever else? Private lending, e-commerce. What would you tell your kids? What should you do first?
It's a personal decision, but I would say that you gotta learn a little bit and try. Yeah. It's like sports. Yeah. Think about your kids' sports. Yeah. You can't come to a 5 years old say, do you want to play soccer, hockey, golf? He doesn't know, or she doesn't know, have no idea. Yeah. So we expose them. We, as a parents, we expose them to different sports so they can pick the one that they love most. I think this is going to be the same. I know that it's hard to expose them to real estate invest, and when you don't do it, but we're lucky because we do it, so we can give this opportunity to our kids. But I would say that think about educating yourself first, understanding what is a real estate, understanding what is a stock. I think they're completely different, but they can work together. Okay, we can have both. You can be a real estate investor and you can be a stock hacker. Okay, because you have the cash flow you coming, or the equity, you sell one property, you have equity. What are you going to do with that money? I don't want to buy another property, or I don't qualify for another property, but I have, let's say, 100K on my hand. What I'm going to do that? Sit on the bank account? I'm going to spend that, right? Yeah. So do something else, stock hacker. Okay, I think it's a good opportunity for them to diversify. And people always came to me and say, Andre, you're very high leverage in real estate. I say, yeah, but in different things. I do passive, I do active, land development, syndicate mortgage, private lending, but also I do stock hacker as well with those investments. So I would say try to experience, but educate yourself before.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a better answer than mine.
Educate yourself in the right place, right? Because if you go on the internet, you know a lot of things that are there, but you got to be cautious, right? Because, and not all places teach what you need to learn. They're looking just to get money.
Yeah, that's one reason I don't like to learn on the internet, for anything free especially.
Yeah. Well, but the same thing for the stock. Yeah. Why did I join your group and learn from the training you guys offer? Because I believe in those trainings, and I didn't want to learn on the internet. I could go on the internet and learn, but I want a community as well, a networking to exchange ideas, to post things that we post. Well, what should we do? Okay, it went sour, it went sideways. I was not planning for that. What should I do now? And people that have passed by that experience can give us some insight. Say, I did that exit strategy and did work for me. Maybe you try that. Maybe you try something different. So I like to have the network. So the real estate, the same thing. Try to get enrolled in a network with real estate investors. There's a lot of good groups on the internet. And try to learn, to chat with people, go in meetings, go learn in meetings. There's a lot of free meetings that everybody offers, you guys offer, other people offer. I think go on those meetings, try to learn, connect with people, talk to them, see what is their experience as well. Learn from that.
That's a much better answer than mine. I'm a man of few words, so I often say you have to learn it all. Nobody wants to hear that.
Well, that was mine before. Today, I say, yeah, I want to learn everything you saw. Yeah. I never said before, I said, I'm not going to do stock, whatever. It's too complicated. Same thing 5-7 years ago. I'm never going to do real estate. It's too complicated. Maybe we buy one rental, two rentals, leave it there forever. Okay? Pay biweekly, accelerated. Don't care about cash flow. Don't care about this. But once you learn, it's not like that. And I don't know. I got thirsty with this knowledge, learning. I want to expose my kids for everything that is possible. And I would tell them, you can do both at the same time. You can have your own career if you don't want to be a business. You want to be a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant, whatever you guys want to do it. But be in charge of your life, your directions. I think that's the most important for them.
Yeah, and then you kind of demonstrate for them, like, you don't have a rigid schedule like most people do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, 9 to 5 job is a good job.
Nothing wrong
but
with it.
nothing wrong, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
I like to take charge of me and decide how much I want to work, and we end up working much more than other people that work 9 to 5.
Oh yeah,
you know that. So it's not. A friend of mine said that is 9 to 5 is 9 to 9. I think it's more than 9 to 9. We work much more than that.
Especially with all the learning that we like to do. It's you don't do it. Yeah, generally it's not done during 9 to 5 for me. Most of my learning is done, like reading is done outside those hours. So Andre, I know, oh yeah, we're over time. Andre, I always like to have let me leave my guests to share, say whatever they want to say. Is there anything that we haven't covered you want to share? You want the listeners to know?
If you wanna do real estate investment, okay, get your tax documents ready. Get all the documents ready, okay?
From the mortgage professional.
From the mortgage professional, please. And I know how complicated it is. I know that we got our notice of assessment for CIA, and then we put on that drawer. Which was that drawer that I put it? I don't remember anymore. But if you're looking to get finance, even buy your personal home, your primary residence, you got to have all those paperwork ready to go. Okay, so keep that one organized. Have the paper trail properly. Okay, sometimes I ask people, say, send me the bank statement, and then the guy go there, take a screenshot, okay, and send to me. I say, well, it doesn't have the account number, it doesn't have your name there. I don't know who belongs to. Or they send a document that is kind of a spreadsheet detailing everything from, say, I can't, anyone can create those documents, right? How the bank or the lender will accept those documents, right? So it is kind of frustrating. I understand the point, and I respect people because I was in that same boat.
Yeah. When they start out, yeah.
But I'm trying to teach people, say, get ready. And being a real estate investor, you're going to need more documentation. I joke with people that, I dig your life, top, bottom. Okay, and because I need to understand, and I need, and I tell people, say, I work for the bank, okay, in a sense, as a mortgage advisor, but I'm 100% commission. So at the end of the day, I work for you, because if I don't get your deal approved, I don't get paid. Okay, but I need to follow the process in the bank, everything, and pack your deal properly. But I need all those documentation. So my first thing for people that wants to invest is that get your paperwork, all your documents for tax return, 2 years. So 2 years, T1 general, T4s, T5s. If you're in salary, pay stub, most recent pay stub. Okay. Employment letter cannot be older than 60 days. Okay. So we need to ask that one. So you need to get ready. Don't feel ashamed to ask your employer for a job letter. Oh, I need to get that one.
I did that all the time.
Say, ask that one. Tell them why you need an employment.
I did it all the time.
Yeah.
People thought I was weird. Yeah. Like every 6 months I'd ask for a letter.
I know. But
what are you buying now?
But, yeah. I go to the teller and say, I need a draft. You buy another home? You were here 2 weeks ago. It's, it's
a good conversation starter.
Yeah, but get those paper, get those tax return ready. Okay. If you have properties, get your mortgage statement. Keep those ones. You get your lawyer when you close your property. With the lawyer, give you lots of documentation. Try to scan that one. Keep it in a digital, safe place. Okay. Everybody now keep all the documentation in the cloud. Just keep it in the cloud, but it's safe because there's a lot of information there. Yeah. But keep those things easily, because if I ask, I need that one quickly. Okay, it takes a lot of time. Sometimes I ask people, I need this. It takes a week to give that pay stub. It's not a good impression for the bank side. Feel, wow, the guy's not that interested to get a mortgage because it takes a week to get that documentation sent to us. It doesn't look nice. Yeah. Okay, so I need to make you look nice to the bank. Yeah. Okay, to the lender. So try to have those documentations quickly. And if I ask you more documentations, trust me, it's because I need. Okay, if I ask you more clarifications, it's because I need. Okay, sometimes I go back. I try not to get all the documentation that I need in one shot because it's overwhelming, the number. But it depends on how many properties you have, types of property. It will increase exponentially, I would say. Okay, just get ready. Get the documentation in place. Everything organized. And keep all the expenses organized because you need to keep tracking how much money at the end of the day you're making. It's not because you see $1,000 cash flow from a property that you're happy. Well, is it really $1,000? Make sure that it is. Make sure that you track your expenses. Make sure that you have a good accountant to help you to maximize your gains, save in tax. Not that you don't want to pay tax. You want to pay tax, but the fair ones. You don't want to waste
and pay it on time.
And pay on time. Yeah. Don't pay anything to delay, okay? Yeah. You're paying interest, okay?
Penalties, yeah.
Penalties.
Or just marry your accountant.
Yeah, and please, if you ask me a mortgage, don't go buy a car. Okay, you're get approved for a mortgage. You're buying a home, but then you decide to change your car. Don't do that, please, because it's your price, your credit. You can do after, okay, but not at the same time. So it's a planning. So be careful how you spend your credit. I would say not your money, your credit, because it affects your credit.
Right. Oh, because how late will the bank pull your credit? Like the day of closing, day before closing?
No, they will pull right away.
Right. Oh, sorry, but at what point do they, like the example of someone buying a car?
If I submit your deal today, I need to pull your credit today.
Yeah.
And then the underwriter will pull. I have a dedicated underwriter that works with me, and he will pull another credit report. Right. It is two, but it counts as one, okay? But it needs to be, but after, let's say, what I say is that people come to me, ask you to bought a property, I'm still working the deal, and then they go and buy a car.
Before closing of the property?
No, even before I submit the application. Even before. That's worse. And then when I put the credit bureau, I say, oh my God, you told me that you only have a credit card like $1,500. Yeah, but I had to do a renovation. It was hard. I put $10,000 in a Home Depot. I say, guys, after we close, please, or get your deal approved and funded, please. Okay, so I would say, talk to your financial advisor, in a sense, the financial mortgage advisor, and get a strategy. Talk and be sincere, like be open. Say, I need to change my car. My car is dying. I'm gonna get my car. It's not going to start. So plan that one. Okay, those
disclose
are
anything you think that might change or affect your credit.
Yes, everything that affects your credit will affect your capacity or power to buy.
I don't know if I think some people don't understand that part. Right?
No, because we're not educated to understand that. That's the problem.
Or some people they don't disclose, just period.
Yeah, people come to me and say, well, your credit score, I have this credit score, 697. Does it affect how much interest rate, the rate that I'm going to get? I say, no, guys. But it can affect other things. But it is not only the number that shows there. I need to see everything that you have there.
Yeah. It's a very holistic thing. It's
yes.
Not,
I need to look everything, not just one specific thing.
Right. I think I often, when I'm teaching clients about screening tenants, I often will say it's a lot like a mortgage application. Would you lend them an asset that's worth $500,000, $800,000? Because you're probably going to have a lot of questions if you are going to lend it to them, right? Versus people just like, oh, credit check. Oh, my realtor deal with it, done, sign. Then you probably, again, if you're going to lend someone that much money, something that's worth that much money, you might have some questions. So more than 2 data points, please.
Yes.
And Andre, where can people track you down? You on TikTok, Snapchat?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. Not in TikTok. It took a while for me to be in WhatsApp. Probably it's because Brazilians love WhatsApp. I don't know what it is with that, but they love. But I can tell you go in those groups on WhatsApp, they don't talk. 4 a.m. in the morning, they send text. I need to turn it off, the notification of WhatsApp, or they drive us nuts, right?
All right.
So, but I'm in Instagram, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, okay? People can get my email.
You want to share it? You sure?
My email address for the bank, yes.
Okay.
Andre Matos, Andre.Matos.
Can you spell it?
ANDRE.MATOS at scotiabank.com. Scotiabank.com.
Easy peasy.
Okay. Personal email.
You want to go that way?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
That's personal.
Yeah. Okay. So andre.matos@scotiabank.com, and then people can say,
Yeah, send to me that one for all your needs for mortgage discussion for mortgage. If you want to chat, go on Facebook, on Instagram. You'll find me there.
And they just search your name, or do you have a page or something?
No, search my name there or Andre Mortgages, Matos Mortgages in a Facebook.
You have to send me all these.
Yeah, I will send you.
Excellent. And that, so folks, I'll have all these all in the show notes. So if you're driving, cooking,
yeah, whatever. Especially with my accent, say M and N is a little bit different, right? M as Mary or N as Nancy. Sometimes when you spell, it's hard. T as in Thomas or D as in Doug. So, but
yeah, R is it R's?
R's.
Your R's pretty good because
Yeah.
for translation, R's and H's are usually challenges.
Well, challenge for us is the TH.
TH.
Instead of saying thought, you gotta say thought, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have those things in Portuguese, but we have things in Portuguese that are hard for you guys to say, saying as well. So
yeah, because all the R's sound like H's, like Henner or Gracie.
yeah, like Robert. So we have a lot of Robert in Portuguese. So, but accent is like I tell people, we have accent, of course. But even inside Brazil, because it's a big place, U.S., Canada, you see accent everywhere for even Canadians born here. Depending on the Alberta, British Columbia, you have the accent.
Yeah.
But it's part of us.
Yeah, I think it's part of the beauty of being in Canada.
Yeah.
Andre, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that we can get mortgages in the corporation with an A lender, a tier 1 bank. Household name, fantastic.
Yeah. People think that it's complicated to get a mortgage in a bank. It's not. It's you need to find the right person, the right advisor, okay, and then everything. But it's the same as find a real estate agent. Okay, for investment, you gotta find the right one.
Yeah,
they're great real estate great real estate agents there, brokers, but not all of them are for investors. Okay, same as accountants, same as lawyers. So you gotta find the right people to work with.
And that's the beauty of the internet is like information is more available than ever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because how would we have found you before?
No, and people come to me and say, "Can I do it?" I say, "Well, guys, if I plan to make everybody happy, I will be selling ice cream, not mortgages."
Right.
So I try to do my best. I try to really educate people and help them to get it. But there are some cases that we can't do it depending on the scenario.
Right.
Okay. And I tell people, it's like me as an investor. One day I'm going to face the wall, but I have an option to face the wall and keep there, or try to pull the wall and find solution to go around.
Right.
Okay. In a good sense, in a sense that I'm finding solutions that really work, not just get me a mortgage.
And worst case, you're stuck at 10 properties. It's not the end of the world.
No, it's not. Like it's all about your goals, right? And you can do other things inside the real estate investment, not just buying properties. Okay. You can work with flips, you can work with renovation, you can work with partners, joint ventures. There's a lot of things. You can lend your money, okay? So there's a lot of good things to do in real estate. It's not just a specific buying property and holding. There's a lot of
That's
things.
my favorite, though.
I love it. I love it. I'm biased too, but I love to drive around and say, that's mine.
Yeah.
Okay? But it costs money, and you need to have a right strategy, and you need to keep on top of those. And remember, you have a tenant, right? But people say, "Wow, I don't like to be a tenant, have a tenant." Well, it's like you open a store in a mall. You have a customer. Some comes and smile to you. Some comes like crazy mad with you, right? So there's different, it's all about type of tenant you want to have.
Right.
And I provide a very good place for tenants to live.
I think some people need to spin that around. Like, I don't like tenants. Like, well, how many customers would you like that pay you $20,000 a year?
Yeah.
Like, ask any small business owner. How many clients would you like that pay $10,000 a year, and only contact you like 5-6 times a year? They'd all line up for that.
No, I mean, they talk about bad tenants. I said, well, there's a lot of bad landlords as well.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Bad landlords.
Tons of bad ones.
So I try to be a nice landlord. I try to really help my tenants, be upfront with them, explain. But at the same time, there is that separation between landlord and tenant. I need to provide what I offer, and they need to pay the rent and take care of my property. But once they are happy and you feel, you provide that, sensation, the comfort that they're home, they're living a great place, they are awesome tenants. They take care of your property and they pay a very good rent for you. Okay. And your property is going up in value every year. So it's a great, it's a great investment.
Awesome. Andre, thank you again for coming in.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. Nice to talk.
Thank you for listening. If you want to learn how to invest in real estate from scratch, my team teaches beginners how to use the #1 investment strategy in a virtual free training class every month. Go to investortraining.ca/podcast to register for our next class. I publish an episode here every week, so subscribe if you want to keep learning from seasoned investors like myself and my guests. Again, if you're ready to learn the nitty-gritty about real estate investing, register for our next free virtual training class at investortraining.ca/podcast. Again, thanks for listening to the show. Talk to you next week.